Hi, I'm Danielle, and this is Chatter Out Loud, a podcast where I share thoughts and TV commentary, starting with one of my favorite shows, Big Brother. In this episode, I'm chatting about Celebrity Big Brother Season 3, and I have a few live feed updates and spoilers. So if you're not a fan of knowing who has either won an HOH, a Power of Veto, or has been nominated before it airs on the CBS episode, then you should either wait to watch that episode and come back and listen, or just wait for my recap and listen to that. But if you are interested, keep listening. There are a few things happening on the live feeds, not much. So let's get into it. So I want to start with who is left in the house. Last night we saw that they voted out Carson, and we have Todrick, Misha, Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia. Out of the 5 of them, Todrick and Misha are the front runners, right? Everybody in the house feels like they are the ones to beat, and they're going to try to prevent them from getting to the end. So that would mean that Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia would have to work together to make that happen. But we'll have to see in terms of how that plays out, right? Because out of the three of them, Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia, they're not that familiar with the game. I think Todd Bridges is most familiar out of the 3 of them, right? And as we've seen with that Shayna fiasco, Cynthia is very, very gullible. She really doesn't know the game, even though in the past couple of days she's been checked in and trying to play, right? But she really doesn't know the game. So we have to see how this all plays out. All right, so 5 house guests are left. We're in the final stretch. An episode airs tonight to reveal who wins the head of a household competition, the HOH. But of course, in this live feed update, I'm going to share that. So I'm getting ready to give you a spoiler and let you know who won the HOH. All right. HOH comp was played. Todrick won the competition. So yes, Todrick is the new HOH. I suspect he will put up both Todd Bridges and Lamar. I suspect they will be the ones going on the block. The power of veto, it's very important this week. The next power of veto is more important, but today, this week's power of veto, it's very important. I hope that either Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia. No, that's the scenario. I hope that Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia, I hope they start to strategize on which one of them will win the power of veto and how to use it, right? I haven't seen them talking much about strategy, about the power of veto. I haven't seen them planning anything yet, and that's just a shame. Because people who really know the game, they would realize some of the scenarios, and they will be playing them out and strategizing right away, right? And let me just give you an example. All right, so what am I talking about? Todrick, he is the HOH. We suspect that he's going to put up Todd Bridges and Lamar, right? They will be nominated. Okay, everyone gets to play in the power of veto. We know that now. We already know that. Everyone, because there's 5 players left. So everyone will be able to play in the power of veto. If Lamar and Todd are on the block, Cynthia would have to not only win the power of veto, but use it to pull down either Todd or Lamar. Doesn't matter which one, but Cynthia would have to use it, pull down one of those guys, and then Todrick has no choice but to put up Misha, right? Because when you win the power of veto, you're safe, and if you use it and you're not on the block, you can use it on one of the 2 nominees. So Cynthia would have to win it, she would have to use it, pull down Lamar or Todd. Todrick has no choice but to put up Misha in their place. Misha goes home, right? Because the remaining house guests, whoever votes, they have control. And the votes right now are not counting anyone on the block, but the people who get to vote are going to be, if they're not on the block, Lamar, Todd, Misha, and Cynthia, right? So out of those 4 people, there's a majority there. 2 of those people, not including Misha, well, I don't want to go down that road. what I want to say is, I don't want to ramble too much. So what I want to say is, if we have a scenario where we see Todd and Lamar nominated, they're on the block, that means Cynthia would have to win the power of veto, pull one of those two guys off. Misha has to go up, and then Cynthia and whomever she pulled off the block will have control over who leaves, and they would have to vote out Misha in order to have a chance. Right? That's the best case scenario. I'm hoping that happens. But why I say it's a shame that I don't see them talking strategy is because none of them have brought this up yet, and I'm hoping that they see it. Like, I see Lamar walking around the house trying to hype himself up, saying, "Come on, Lamar, come on, Odom, you got to get a win, you got to get a win." And we hear Todd Bridges trying to say, "You guys have to win, you guys have to win." But I want them to sit down and think about like the strategy and this POV, right? Because I can see them they're not familiar with the game, and I can see Todd winning. It could be an instance where Todd, it can be an instance where, Cynthia or Todd or Lamar would be in a position to win. And I hope that they just let Cynthia win if she's not on the block, right? So out of the three of them, Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia, whoever's not on the block, they have to know to plan to let that person, whoever's not on the block between Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia, whoever's not on the block has to win the POV so they can use it and pull one of the other ones down and Misha goes up. But I don't see them talking about that. I don't see them planning it. I don't see them thinking about that. They're spending a lot of time playing solitaire. I mean, Cynthia's committed to learning how to play solitaire. And I'm like, why can't you commit to learn how to play Big Brother? Like, it's just so frustrating to watch. As a fan, I'm screaming at the TV like, come on. Is this a tactic by Todrick, by the way? Like, he's all willing to help people learn how to play solitaire. And it is kind of smart if it is a tactic, because he's keeping them from thinking about the game of Big Brother, that is. They're so hell-bent on learning how to play solitaire, but you're in a game and there's an opportunity there. And I just wish they would just strategize and think about that, right? Man. But wouldn't it be cool to see, because Todrick and Misha, they think they have it all, right? And it would just be so cool, yes, to see Todrick, nominate Lamar and Todd, and then have Cynthia, like the three of them out of Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia, watch them throw the POV to Cynthia, have her win, and then use it. And that is, not only do they have to strategize and think about that, but they also have to protect Cynthia so she won't be manipulated by Todrick. We've seen that happen already. But none of them, I don't see them talking like that. I don't see that strategy. And it's so sad, right? There's an opportunity there. And I'm like, come on. All right. What else I want to say? I'm continuing to monitor the live feeds. Not much is happening. I saw Todrick exercising his voice. I guess he's in preparation for his tour. And again, like I said, they're playing a lot of solitaire. Oh. Todrick and Misha's conversation in the HOH room really hasn't changed much, so I don't want to put too much energy into that. The only thing I want to say is about Todrick and Misha. In my opinion, I just see two people, Todrick especially, who maybe lack self-awareness. But this shouldn't surprise us anymore, right? They're only really talking to each other, and they're reinforcing each other. They're in their own bubble. The bubble's going to burst soon after they get out the house, and then they're going to see how people perceive them. So it won't last long. All right. It's still a lot that can happen in the game. Like I said, I'm sending vibes and energy and all of that stuff to Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia for them to sit down, stop playing solitaire, and start to strategize and focus on playing the power of veto. Not only playing, understanding the instructions of the game, but they have to know whoever's on the block, whoever's nominated, has to throw the POV to the person that's not nominated out of the three of them, Todd, Lamar, and Cynthia. I want them to sit down and think about this. Just silent, settle their minds for a second, stop playing solitaire and get together, talk, and just hopefully something will pop up into someone's mind. I think maybe it'll come up in Todd's mind it'll come up in his mind first, hopefully. But I wish they just would just think about this. Oh my goodness. It's still a game left to play. So we'll see what happens tonight. Right? And that's all oh, wait. I have one more thing. I wanted to mention that Carson. Man, I don't have it in front of me. Anyway, I read an article. He did an article or did an interview with Parade. That's like an online publication. And so the article popped up in my feeds, my timeline. And so I clicked on it because I think it was titled something about Carson apologized to Shayna. So I saw that. I'm like, oh man. So anyway, he did an interview with Parade today, or they published it today. And usually they have a video of it too, and they post that on YouTube. I haven't seen that yet, but I've just read the article. I don't have it in front of me, but overall, from what I remember, they were asking him about questions. One of the questions had to do with Shayna, of course. Ultimately, he knows now that he got duped. He apologized to Shayna. And then the other thing that stood out to me were the rapid fire questions they asked at the end of the interview. And the rapid fire questions were getting his thoughts on the remaining house guests, right? And so when they got to Todrick, he said he wanted to choose his words wisely, and his thoughts on Todrick were that he was very tricky. Interesting, right? So if you get a chance, go read that article. It's a quick read. It's pretty good. And if you don't want to read the article, it's somewhere on YouTube. It's from Parade. They always post the online interview. They post the videos on YouTube. All right. I can't wait for finale night, and all of them are back together. And finale, it looked like it's only 1 hour long, so we may not see many fireworks. Who knows? But it will be interesting to see Todrick and Misha's reaction to how much Shayna is liked and how much they are not liked. Right? I've concluded that Todrick and Misha, they think they are better than everyone else. They think they have a level of intellect that's higher than everyone else, and they know everything. And it's just unfortunate because they really do lack self-awareness. But again, like I said, that bubble will burst soon. All right, so that's all I have. So be sure to come back, give me a listen, like, follow, share, subscribe. You can leave me a comment, leave me a message. If you're listening to the podcast, there's a link to leave a message, so check that out. That link is right on the landing page, so it's easy to find. So click on it and leave me a message. All right, you can find me by looking for Chatter Out Loud. I have this podcast, I tweet, I'm on YouTube, so look for Chatter Out Loud and you'll find me. Yeah, and my name is Danielle. You're listening to my podcast, Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.